Today, the very wisdom under the guidance of which we think, feel, and work in our everyday life is the false wisdom, a wrong understanding of our own personality and of the very meaning and purpose of life. Naturally, we know not what would be the healthy relationship between ourselves and the world of things and beings around us. In this mistake, we cling to things perishable and expect them to be permanent. Run after things which are really sheer pits of sorrow and vaguely hope to gain all joys from them. We are disappointed, smothered, floored. But never by the world, neither the world of things and beings, nor the world of happenings have any such power over man. Yet we feel that we are licked by the world, cheated and looted by circumstances. All these pangs and pains of life start from the very false wisdom we have at present in us. A drunken man falls down and gets bruised, and he howls and fights in his drunkenness with the roadside culverts, milestones, electric posts, and avenue trees. Man, in his drunken wisdom, blames the world for all his sorrows. To convert this misguiding false wisdom in us and to re educate us are the efforts of all Shastras, of all scriptures, of all prophets and masters. Hence, everyone must strive himself to understand, reflect, digest, and assimilate the right knowledge and thus bring about a necessary change in the pattern of wisdom in him. If the driver is sane, smart, and sensible, is sane, driver is sane, smart, and sensible, the ride will be pleasant and joyous. The driver that works in us is the wisdom in us. Unless each one of us tries to bring about the inward conversion of our wisdom, no true change in life is ever possible. Hope of our cultural revival rests upon our capacity to bring about the necessary orientation in our own wisdom. Chapter 13. Why Ethics? In the religion of the Rishis, ethics and morality are not a set of heartless rules of do's and don'ts, with a baseless threat of an eternal damnation for all those who dare disobey those prophet made rules. This is at once the strength and weakness of Hinduism. It is a weakness inasmuch as it gives freedom for those who want to condemn themselves to an ugly life of sighs and sobs for themselves, as also death and destruction for others. Compared with other religions of the world, the brilliance and beauty of Hinduism is not merely in that we are not enslaved by the commandments of any single prophet, but also in that we are not forced to obey implicitly the rules of conduct prescribed by any divine authority of an ancient dead past. They strive to make us understand why a certain way of life has been prescribed. No doubt, many of the moral and ethical rules of right living are common in all the existing religions. But only in Hinduism are they emphasized as so many intelligent policies of economizing the personality dynamism available in individuals. The quality and quantity of thoughts entertained by any given personality determine the amount of wear and tear suffered by the person. We see amidst us cheerful and gay men living vigorous and youthful life even at the age of 80, and also wretched specimens of show who show the weariness of 80 years even at the age of 18. This passion of mental energies ends in the tuberculosis of the mind. To detect this wasteful disease at the moment and to carefully nurse back the tubercular mind to a healthy condition is the contribution of ethics in our yoga. Such a rehabilitated mind, returned to the pursuit of the right values of life, brimming with an ever growing energy, becomes the right vehicle to gain real achievements in life. Mental rehabilitation program consists of two distinct aspects: A. Conserving the energy, and B. Redirecting it into profitable channels. Energy is now wasted through wrong channels of egoistic self assertion and vain sense of self importance. To divert the thought flow from these self destructive directions is to stop all exhaustions of all mental and intellectual energies. No columns of living energy can be indefinitely conserved, for they grow in their force and can, when left to themselves, blast even the thickest barriers and continue again to flow through the same old wrong ruts of dispassions. In order to avoid this calamitous tragedy, the conserved energy should not be held back indefinitely, but must be intelligently diverted to water profitably the fields of useful endeavor. It is to emphasize this purpose that in Hinduism the ethical and moral life have been given but a secondary importance when they are compared with the insistence of the rishis upon the regular meditation and constant and faithful devotion unto the Supreme. Ours is not a Sunday church devotion or a Friday mosque religion. In our sacred books, the insistence is upon seeker's mind lifting itself in attunement with the ideal of his heart constantly, nityam. In all the sermons of the rishis prescribing such moral values and ethical beauties of conduct, they concluded their declarations with the same chorus. They repeatedly advise us to apply the mind so purified at the feet of the Lord of our heart in steady contemplation. This is true in the Upanishads, in the Gita, and in the Puranas. This yoga spirit is the strength of Hinduism. Its practical positivism is the glory of our culture. The great rishis can be perhaps accused of having failed to dogmatically prescribe or fanatically insist upon a series of blind and deaf, mute and dead do's and don'ts. In our modern days of rules and regulations, covenants and legislations, bills and enactments, we perhaps feel unhappy that there are no definite commandments in our religion regarding which we are not to question why. We are but to do and die. Artistic self growth, spiritual fulfillment in life, moral unfoldment within, ethical growth in the personality. These cannot be achieved except in an atmosphere of freedom and understanding. These were the goals pointed out by our rishis for man to follow. They had for a man to follow. They had no intention of marching a dead, thoughtless multitude through definite routes towards either the dark chambers of an eternal hell or into well lit golden halls of a perpetual heaven. The rishis were evolving god men from the animal men, and their moral and ethical rules were all to chasten man to become men of God, pure at heart, noble in thoughts, magnanimous in attitude, and living in action. The perfection of Hinduism is a state of joyous harmony lived by man among men here, even while living in this very embodied existence. Ethics in India is a handmaiden to such a diligent and daring seeker. Chapter 14, the most positive sadhana. More often than not, the most sincere of religious priests have been guiding their generation with the best of their advice on right living, but alas, always wrongly expressed. Very rarely do they recognize the necessity for employing the right technique in giving out the theory and practice of right living to their devotees. In all vocal arts such as music, poetry, and oratory, the medium employed is as important as the ideas expressed through each one of them. Because of its various preoccupations and selfish interests, a careless priest class, goaded by haste, perverted by prejudices, and over anxious for maximum turnover, has been for some time now doling out the science of life, religion, to an equally restless and dejected crowd. The result is that the sermons and discourses preached to the laity are almost always heard, but usually not understood at all, and so, without a regret, they are easily forgotten. Occasionally, some did come to hear and even happen to understand them, but never could they accept the creed. In some rare cases, we find that sincere seekers have listened to them, have studied hard, and have intelligently tried to understand without an exception. All of them have, either in the very beginning or a little later, got disheartened because of their utter failure to live successfully the pattern of life advised to them. The priest class condemns the generation of devotees for their lack of perseverance and faith, and the disappointed devotees come to sincerely believe and ardently declare that the theory and technique of life as propounded in the religions of the world are impossible schemes. To them, religion becomes soon a futile technology, elaborate and exhaustive in its plans and schemes, but useless to the average man of the world because it is a merely utopian dream of some impractical saints. ever soaring high into beautiful altitudes away from the gross surface of the earth where the worldly men live and struggle. If this unprofitable method of instruction in religion is not totally given up, very soon we shall have empty houses of gods which shall shelter only a few unintelligent panditas, priests, and maulavis. It is certainly a most acceptable thing for all of us if religion claims to bring about a revolution in the individual human personality. We shall realize that unless the texture of the human heart is changed, the external prosperity and comforts which science has assured for us cannot fulfill themselves in the world. Happiness is that state of mind in which, when he comes in contact with the happy scheme of existence that science has created in our age for us, a transformation of the mental quality is indeed the most beneficial thing to be achieved by the members of the human community all around the world. Priests in all religions unanimously indicate this acceptable goal of perfection as the very thing to strive for if our life is again to be guided into a state of its fulfillment. Change in the existing mental makeup is no easy process. Mind is constituted of thoughts manifested within each one of us. Unless the thoughts are changed, the mind cannot be changed. The rehabilitation of the given personality consists of in bringing about a triple change in the thoughts in us, consisting of changes in their quality, quantity, and direction of flow. The quality of thoughts entertained by us has been to a large extent completely changed by the constant remembrance of the Lord of our heart, especially when this springs from the deep and delicate depths of a devoted heart. The practice of devotion on an ideal personality, possessing all the human qualities, is a method of directly changing the quality of thoughts entertained by us. Positive and creative qualities are such that they, in their reaction with the world outside, do not multiply themselves into any boisterous upsurge within, eroding and washing away one's mental vitality. For example, bring into your mind the memories of your love and watch your mental condition. After a time, work up your mind to relieve your hatred or jealousy which you entertain for your enemy. Be conscious of the mental condition. The contrast is obvious. Love soothes the mind, while hatred and jealousy whips up the mind into a storm. God is conceived of in all the religions as the embodiment of all positive qualities of a human mind, and therefore to remember Him constantly is to change the quality of thoughts in the devotee's mental life. And since positive thoughts bring about tranquility and peace, the quality of thoughts in the mind is also controlled and chastened. As the same given mind cannot efficiently apply itself in more than one direction, to remember the Lord is to, in fact, forget everything other than Him. If I am going to the office, it automatically means that I am moving away from my home. Since no individual can be at one and the same time, both at home and at the office. To remember the Lord is to forget everything other than the Lord. That is, the direction of the thoughts is turned to God and not allowed to continue in the present impetus flow to senses. Positive approach of remembering an ideal is easy and natural for a healthy human mind. It is an entertainment for a mind to act positively and remember a definite thought given to it. But the human mind is never so efficient to function negatively and forget a given idea. This positive attitude, which is the nature of the mind, is ignored by all over insistent moralists and ethical Puritans. The parents and elders, teachers and professors, priests and panditas, scriptures and Puranas have all been constantly preaching the non performance of certain types of thought. All priests persistently preach don'ts. As an example, if you try not to remember as you wake up from tomorrow onwards, say four ordinary things: broomstick, doormat, ladder, and spoon. You will find that every day your very first thought will be flying towards these very objects that are banned. On the other hand, if the advice was to remember gratefully the source of all energy, the sun, that has risen at the eastern horizon, it is possible that the mind can be easily and effectively led away from entertaining the wrong thoughts. In all religions, there are both the positive and negative aspects of the thought life prescribed for the training of the mind in as many do's and don'ts. Decadence in culture and religious downfall generally visit an era wherein the negative aspects of the social thought discipline are overemphasized. The Renaissance or revival is ushered in the moment the positive side of religion is taken up for serious study. To remember the Lord at all times and act in the world with an awareness that He is all seer is the most positive sadhana for a seeker who strives to evolve and therefore by to transform his inward personality from its present conditions of wretchedness to a state of harmony and efficiency. Hari Om. Here completes 14th chapter.